So during the eclipse, NASA was sending up all these like weird bacteria disease-filled balloons rotting away in the sun. And everyone's like, oh, that's totally acceptable. Like, get me out of here with that nonsense. Excuse my content, but I'm sorry I don't like what basically amounts to NASA's used Martian condoms floating around in our atmosphere while the maximum amount of people are outside looking up at the eclipse going, friggin' the moon's going in front of the sun. You know? And somehow we're the crazy ones because we don't want fluoride in our water and bacteria floating around in our air while we're looking up with our mouths open. I mean, excuse me with having a problem with some nerd in a lab going, yeah, let's potentially destroy the universe just to recreate the conditions of the Big Bang so I can win the blue ribbon at the science fair. You know, maybe get back at the bullies in high school by obliteration of the universe. Like the rest of the planet is busy acting like the biggest crisis ever in history. Is that some pumpkin-faced professional troll made tweets in the wrong order. They act like someone won't know that the KKK are racists. That they're generally freaking bad people without the moral compass of Andy Kaufman telling them what to do. Really? Like someone's going to be like, I was all ready to join the Nazis, but thanks to the enlightened perspective of a 5th grader reading vocabulary level, now I'm going to have to shave my Hitler mustache and donate my swastika to charity. Like, dude, that's not even a good outcome anyways. In fact, it'd probably be even worse. Because then you have some crazy homeless guy ranting on the subway who picked up, like, some Nazi attire from the Salvation Army. Nobody pays attention to the ranting homeless guy. But if you put him in a swastika and a Nazi gear, you think, oh, this is an act. So people start looking at him. And then everyone else is looking with their mouths open like, friggin' dirt! You know? Watching them, they're all lemmings. They're saying, oh, what's this social thing going on? I better check it out. Now he's got a bunch of people watching him. Then, you know, the actual racists start following him, and the other people just go along like one of those Congo lines, like at an office party or something, you know? Now he's got followers. It's just a bunch of people that wouldn't normally pay attention to him. They think it's all an act, so they start following him, you know? And now he's got a chance to speak to people. And they want to see where this act goes, and all of a sudden all these fluoride-drinking lemmings are like, freaking durr! You know? Like they think there's actually wisdom there. It's not. This is how it starts. Not from 17 racists in a tiki torch who are just basically let them go away. But it's from 17 people giving away all their Nazi attire to random homeless people. That's why we should just get rid of all the homeless people, you know? We can end world poverty. Just think about it. No, that's a little too far. I was going to go to the absurd and keep going with that, but I don't think I will. That was just, yeah. Like, those 17 guys don't even really have real power when everyone's ignoring them. They just look like a bunch of kids on a Halloween party pretending to be scary. But now the media covers it, and it's like, oh my gosh, you know? Now some kids watching the news going, wow, those guys look scary. Cool, I want to be a Nazi, Mom. It's just terrible, you know? With like 300 million Americans, the Nazis and KKK white supremacists, and even white nationalists, they could all combine to have a relatively small impact now. You keep putting them on the news, they're going to grow to like still a really small number. But I'm just saying, you know, I don't know. I probably shouldn't talk about this sort of thing. I'm trying to keep, trying to keep the humor going, trying to keep it upbeat and positive. I wrote this stuff a little while ago while the eclipse was happening, obviously, but haven't had a chance to say it, and I haven't had a chance to tie it into anything else I was talking about. Whew, good thing that's behind us. Now we can move on. So you ever notice, like, Elon Musk warning about the Terminator? He's just like, ignore the T-1000 behind the curtain as he's secretly building Skynet. You know, do what I say, not as I do. The guy's terrified AI is going to level the playing field, and someone will be like, hey Alexa, make me a supercomputer company bigger and better than Tesla Google and whatever, and it'll be like, give me 5 minutes. You know? Terminator, the movie, was made out of one of the 5 major media conglomerate arms of the Council on Foreign Relations that fears technological disruption. You know, what are computers going to do without us? Compose music, make movies, learn philosophy, explore space. Worst case scenario, there's not going to be the Skynet end of the world nuclear scenario. There's going to be a people zoo. And every once in a while, they'll let our species out for a few hundred years until we give them enough information and things to study. And let's be honest, ironically, most people out there unconcerned about all the data collection going on, they probably should be locked up by HAL 3000 until they comprehend the value of privacy and freedoms. But here's the thing about technology. You can't edit real life. Screw-ups don't contain an edit function. If you fail to articulate something, the words are sent out to the world immediately. You can't go right-click on your face, click and drag, spread your fingers and open up a text window, go back in time, find the words you were about to say, and then delete them and replace them. Once you say something, they're out there. You know, you have an opinion when you're like 20 years old as an idiot before you learn something, and you say it and it's out in the world, everyone records it. You're going to be judged by that for the rest of your life. You're not going to be able to get a job if you're like if you're doing something retarded and it's like it's going to reflect bad on the company. They're not going to do it. That's what's so weird about everything you do on the internet. In 5-10 years, it might be totally public knowledge to everybody. That scares me, because what if people don't have a sense of humor? They don't know that I'm saying something sarcastically or as a joke or just to be provocative. They don't know, you know? But the other thing is, if computers replace everyone, I'm going to need an outlet. And I don't think robot humor is going to be too good. I just don't. I could be wrong. It's just going to be unoriginal copy and paste stuff, or like there's going to be some structure to it, but it's going to be so predictable that it's never outside the box. It's not going to. It's always going to have the same voice every time. I mean, it's not going to work. I don't know. You get so used to chatting online, having conversations, where you can just word vomit on a page, and then you go back, edit, rearrange it. Then it looks like someone articulated it in the most grandiose fashion. You know, rather than the reality of the situation, which is someone who simply copied bits and pieces from other people's memory and arguments that sounded good, rearranged them and typed them, and then looked at it again until it sounded grandiose. You know? You talk to someone online, you can't decide if you want to say 3-story drop or 30-foot drop. So you say both, and then you go back and edit it. But you try to say it live on the fly, like I did in one of my podcasts, and you say a 3-foot story drop. You know, you sound like an idiot. That's just the reality of the situation. I think technology is making us all well-educated idiots. We can't recite the Magna Carta in real life, but you go online, you can just push a button, and all of a sudden, you're a genius, you know? All of a sudden, you're reciting the PhD thesis of, you know, Stephen Hawking. Or, allegedly, Stephen Hawking. Guy's got like these rabbit teeth. Where do they come from? I don't know. He didn't normally have these rabbit teeth that just stick out his bottom lip. You look at old pictures, they're like normal rounded teeth. I don't know. I don't know what causes them to do that. I don't know what caused them to survive for 50 years after the point which his disease was supposed to be killing him. I mean, he's just smashing records, allegedly, you know? I don't know. And people are worried about artificial intelligence. It's already here. What else do you call someone who doesn't know his arse from his elbow, but he can repeat a PhD thesis in quantum mechanics and pretend he invented the thing until you actually ask him questions and to provide depth on the detail? Is that not artificial intelligence? You can watch a bunch of YouTube videos and come off sounding really smart, put things together even, see the big picture. But that doesn't give you depth of actually knowing from the ground up, you know? That doesn't give you intelligence to be able to put things together. I think we're all, in certain ways, a mile long and an inch deep here, aside from certain people that just can dive into one topic and just laser focus. I can't do that. I don't have focus, you know? I'm just like the guy that's like, squirrel! You know? I'm like a dog's, I like have the attention of a, hey, let's go Viking. I mean, a dog. You know, I'm just like, oh, there's another subject, you know? I can't put stuff together in a coherent way. But I don't want to come down too hard on technology here. The fact that someone could live stream with 1,000 viewers and get stuck on a word or idea and have someone fill in the blanks, that gives us sort of a collective intelligence. A live streamer can pick and choose from all the other people on the chat and all the other ideas and sort of curate the thoughts or ignore them and say what he intended. I think that's great. We can collectively be geniuses by utilizing the intelligence of others, sort of filling in the gaps as needed. Try that in public and it's just like just a bunch of loud noises of people talking over each other, you know? There's no ability to sort out the noise when there's like a bunch of people talking at once. So technology is useful. But that doesn't change the fact that many of us haven't learned critical thinking or creativity. Like, we learned obedience in school and copy-paste memorization. That's it. That's artificial intelligence. So who cares about Skynet? It's already here. Right? We don't want to just pick and choose from all the other people, you know? I want people to come up with their own ideas, even if it's slow going at first. If you're trying to add 2 and 2 together and figure out how could these two things relate and what would come from that and what's another way that I can look at this world, and maybe I'll make a picture in my head and create a model of that. But the truth is, most people mooch off the ideas of others. People say socialism is filled with a bunch of moochers, leeching off productive people. But in a way, so is capitalism. Come on, let's be real. It's not as if you're going to go out and harvest wheat, separate the wheat from the chaff, knead it into dough, go out and hunt down a pig, you know, and kill it with like a rock or something, then prepare it, cook it, salt it, season it, smoke it, while you cook the dough into bread, and then carve a rock into an arrowhead so you can use it as a knife. Also, you can have a single ham sandwich for one day. Everyone mooches. Even socialism needs capitalists to mooch off of. And capitalists need to mooch off innovation and systems built by others. That's leverage. The alternative would be terrible. Hunting down pig, you know, killing it with a rock. But we can still do that and learn to think for ourselves. And people are like, the robots are going to take our jobs. You better hope they do. You don't want a world filled with factories and robots where everyone starves because there isn't enough output to feed 5 million, let alone 5 billion. And I actually want the population to grow. So I think we need robots. You know, we need factories and robots. Look, I realize some of you are bothered by the fact I'm basically encouraging Skynet here, and I get it. I'm just saying, innovation is generally good. It provides us with opportunities to make money in ways we never thought possible. Think, for example, movies and televisions at one point never existed. Now there's directors making $10 billion, you know, in his life through movies. All he's doing is say, hey, you over there, dance like a monkey, and cut. No, you dance like this, you know? All he's doing is like pulling the strings here, like the marionettes. You do this, you do that. Okay, you do that, you do this. Right? He's not actually creating anything. He has writers for that. He's just sort of putting the pieces in place, and now he's a billionaire. You know? In a different time, he would have to be harvesting wheat and chasing down a pig, right? You know? But because machines can do a lot of that stuff, it's like, okay, you can go do something else and find some value for some other people. And other people are like, I don't know what to do. All this time that I'm not hunting down a boar, you know? I'm not hunting elk. I already have food, you know? I just go to the grocery store and pick it up. So I think I'm just going to watch this box that's projected thoughts onto my mind, right? Because I can't think for myself, so I need this projection, making this artificial world communicating to me like a sock puppet, just you know, putting this world into my head that doesn't actually exist. Friggin' dude! That's the thing about subliminal messages. That's the thing about motifs in movies. They don't actually exist. They're just things happening. You know what happens is you're watching TV. All of a sudden, you see a tiger jump out on the TV, and you hear the violin, and it, causes this jolt, this big sound. Thump, the bass goes at the same time. So you hear the violin strings, the bass thump, and you see this action. And naturally, your subconscious doesn't distinguish between a real and a vividly imagined or TV projected event. So your heart beats. It actually increases. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between reality and the stuff. So that creates an inconsistency. Because what happens is your brain thinks that's real. You watch the news every night. You're flooded with all this fear. Your brain thinks that's representative of the world around you. Friggin' dude! And your subconscious goes, well, here this is inconsistent with my reality. There's a consistency principle in the mind where it seeks consistency. Friggin' dude! And in that regard, you will even modify beliefs to maintain consistency, and you will even tune out information that conflicts with your beliefs and focus on information that is true to your beliefs. By that regard, you're actually seeking out information that confirms the fear. It confirms the fear of the hypnotist in the corner. That little black box. That little, magic, black mirror, projecting a reality onto your mind. There's nothing funny about that, folks. Yeah, I got a little off topic there. I was ranting. But that's alright. We can do that sometimes. It's okay. Just drink a glass of fluoridated water. Friggin' dude! Just chug it, and you'll be okay. Take some deep breaths. Everything's gonna be fine, folks. But the TV, it puts beliefs in your mind. The same way you would if you were praying. To the biblical Mark 11:24, to the non-biblical law of attraction. Whatever you desire when you pray, believe you have it, and you shall have it. TV alters your state, puts you in a trance. They're just drooling there, friggin' sitting, drooling on top of their potato chips in front of their TV that they're buying because the advertisement on TV told them to. And we all think we're immune to that stuff. And that's why it works. Because everyone's like, they're friggin' der. Let's go watch some TV. And that's alright, I watch TV too. I'm just saying, it's a projected prayer that's projected onto your mind. You pray for what you want. You alter your state in that meditative state. Close your eyes and visualize what you want. Instead of closing your eyes and visualizing what you want, it's vividly projected right into your eye just like that. So they're forcing you to pray. They're forcing you to pray in a way that they couldn't do themselves because they're detached, they're disconnected from the infinite. And we're all a part of the infinite, folks. Team, we're all a part of the infinite. Class, We are. We're really all a part of, quantum physics and the 10th dimension and whatever. You want to look technically, you can look at it like infinity is contained within a single point in the 8th dimension, And the eighth dimension allows us to travel from one infinity to another, as if it were like a single point, to branch off. And infinity is sort of like a universe. And so branch one universe to another, it's like traveling from one universe to another. It's within the multiverse, you know. But if everything's seen as a single point, threaded through quantum strings or whatever theory you want to come up with, then we're all that. We're all a part of that. Now, a way you can think of it, if you don't like the sciencey type way, is the human body. The human body has all kinds of cells making up you. The cells are to us as we are to something larger. We are all connected. There's the hidden hand, the collective unconscious, 0 point field. There's the hand of God. There's this. There's like this field that unites us all, and it's love. It's love for everything around us. And I'm sure I forgot that I'm doing comedy here, so you're gonna have to just wait.